Notice regarding limitations on certain item functionalities in new areas. Wow, with random capitalization all throughout. Maple News. I can't wait for these pictures to be updated. And then the dual blade is actually not getting updated at all. Feels bad, man. At least the thief one is getting updated and doesn't look like a 2006 Chief Bandit anymore. That gets their Mezzo bags looted by someone else when they're setting up for Mezzo Explosion. A few of you got that reference, okay? Attention Maplers, we'd like to share with you regarding our plans. We'd like to share with you regarding our plans to limit certain items' functionality usage in future level 300 and above areas. Getting a little bit ahead of ourselves, but okay. In new level 300 and above areas, a limitation will be placed on using item functionalities that affect the overall game balance. Okay, that's every single thing, so be more precise. This change was decided after thorough and careful consideration. Alright, 2 people in a meeting at Nexon, let's go. So that the current gameplay of players who own these items would not be largely affected, while still taking into account the health of the future game environment and new player experience. There currently are no plans ready to share regarding the implementation date of level 300 and above areas. However, if we follow the pattern, that's got to be at least 2 years from now, right? Or a year and a half until they get to level 300? That's got to be at least 2 years. However, we wanted to give our players advance notice so that you'll have enough time to take a note of these future changes before they take effect. We hope you understand. The following items will be affected by this change in the new level 300 above areas. Breath of Divinity. So I guess for high level boss fights, they won't will no longer be able to rely on those. Lucid's Earrings, Reaper Pendant. For the people who have no idea what these items are, Breath of Divinity is a ring, a level 150 I think ring that gives you a giant shield. They go for about like $2,000 to $3,000 I think at non-reboot. And while you keep dealing damage, if the shield is going down, all of a percentage of the damage you deal will replenish the shield. So if the shield is ever completely removed, you have to wait until the cooldown until it comes back. But as long as you keep dealing damage, you basically keep replenishing that shield, so you effectively have way more HP, and it's really hard. If you're good at the game, it's really hard to die at a certain point. Lucid's Earring have a specific bind skill that comes with it that stacks with the regular bind. At least it used to. Don't know 100% if it still stacks with it or not. I think it does. So it's basically like how Yorozu used to be, but then in non-reboot people had Yorozu and Lucid's Earrings and regular binds. So they could just lock bosses into place forever. It still stacks. Okay, thank you, Mateswirl. And then Reaper's Pendant, I believe, kind of works the same as a door skill, where you get an extra life, if I'm not mistaken. That one doesn't seem to be meta very much, because you do lose a lot of damage if you wear one of those compared to the other possible pendants. But it's still strong. Ring of Torment, I am not 100% sure what that one is. Ring of Torment, is that like the purpley one? Ring of Torment MapleStory with the little circle in it. What does it look like? Oh yeah, it is that one. Equipping the skill will unlock the skill, the Ring of Torment. Thanks. The damage you deal to enemies is reduced by 30% and your bonus EXP is increased by 15%. Aha, so this is how, when you're super overpowered, you can use this ring to get way more EXP training. Interesting. This is not what we were looking at. Yes, this is what we were looking at. Okay, and then Firestarter Ring, which resets the burn in a ring, in a map, sorry, to level 10, so 100% bonus EXP, and you can use it every half hour. So basically, 10 minutes in level 10, 10 minutes in level 9, 10 minutes in level 8, and then as soon as it hits level 7 in a map, you can just use it again. So you're always on 10, 9, or 8, so on average you're always on level 9 burn, essentially, with a Firestarter Ring. So Ring of Torment and Firestarter Ring together for training, really, really strong. And there's also Frenzy Totem on here. So this is like for training, high-end training in non-reboot is going to make a huge difference. Battle-Roid, that's interesting, but I guess Battle-Roid is more for bossing together with like Breath of Divinity. Battle-Roid basically is a Wheel of Destiny, a safety charm, and a buff freezer all in one automatically. I think. And then we have Frenzy Totem, which is basically like old Kishin, which is, considerably better. I think Kala was talking about it. if you want to compare reboot and non-reboot on the same maps, like reboot will be able to kill like 25,000 monsters. If you have a frenzy totem on the same map and you can do full clear, you can get close to like 60 plus thousand, like 65,000 or something. So it's like more than doubles, like 2.2 times, up to almost 2.5 times as good, because it's half better at respawn and half better at amount of monsters. So you put those two together, you get way more monsters and they respawn way faster. So as long as you have good clear speed, you actually get way more experience. Well, you get way more monster killed, but you don't get necessarily way more experience because the experience on reboot is higher per monster. So you have to compensate with like Firestar Ring and with Ring of Torment and all of that stuff. Yeah. And then Wild Totem is of course the ones that we wait, do we use Wild Totems now or do we use Fury Totems? Fury Totems was the old ones, right? I am low on HP. Fury Totems was like the white and red, the pinkish one, right? And now it's Wild Totem? Yeah. So it seems that all of these items will be affected at level 300 and above. You might be curious about the Kana's Kishin Shokhan skill will behave in the new level 300 and above areas, because it's basically like a Wild Totem. And the skill provides similar features to some of the items listed above. Our teams have been reviewing the Kishin Shokhan skill in detail, and since the skill has a unique effect on the overall balance of the game, we plan on reducing its effectiveness next year. Okay, next year already. And it is December, so that's like in 3 weeks. In 2 weeks. It's 21st. Okay. We'll share the finalized detailed plans with you as soon as we have them available, but just so you know. And again, this might all seem weird. It's like, okay, it's level 300 and above, like, who cares? These things are huge investments in both time and in money, so the sooner they give a heads up, the better. And I think it's good. You know, it might feel a little bit like fear-mongering, like, oh, it's about to happen, but it's so far away. It's good that they're giving the information as early as possible in advance, because if you're like, oh, next week, by the way, those items you just got and all of that time you spent in the last 3 years getting to this point, yeah, we're going to change it to this point where you're basically either have to like quit the game or feel really, really bad about all the time you invested and like begrudgingly keep on going, you know? So it's good, the earlier the better for that, I would say. For the people who are wondering, like, why are they already telling us that, like, you know. Okay. We will share the finalities. Yeah, we plan to execute the following changes to avoid any potential confusion going forward. Add a notice regarding the item usage limitation on the description tooltip of the items listed above during our version 230 patch update maintenance. Wait, 230, that's the upcoming one, right? Right now we're in 229, I think. I believe so. And then new areas implemented with level 300 and above condition will retain the item usage limitation even if their level condition gets adjusted to below level 300 sometime in the future. Oh, that's kind of sneaky that they're already putting that in there, huh? So if an area or a boss is level 300 on release, then it'll have these limitations. And even if they, for some reason, for whatever reason, if their limitation goes to below level 300, they will still keep, or their area effectiveness will go below level 300, they will still keep the same limitation. Huh, okay. It's weird how they already want to throw that in there before anything remotely near those levels have been released. That's interesting. Because when have they really changed levels of areas significantly? I mean, all I remember was like, Ludibrium used to be a level 25 area, or level 30 or something. And I remember going there one time on like a level 30 character, getting absolutely bodied by a teddy bear. Just fucking wrestling body slammed and just absolutely one-tapped. Be like, oh, these are level 120 now. Okay, whoops. And I think RIP Malaysia, I guess, but like I think the Malaysia area was somewhere like level 80 and then went down to like level 40 something and then went back up to like 160. So they definitely did. They had some changes, but it feels like the further you go into developing content for the game, the less giant the adjustments should be, because the more experience you have with the balance, is my understanding. So if you're making like level 300 stuff, it seems like that doesn't really need to be significantly adjusted anytime. But the fact that they're holding out the caveat for that makes me think that they might bring out new areas that will be really good for, like, you know, the top 1% of the 1% people who are actually trying to go for level 300. And then once enough people reach it, they'll make it accessible to more people so more people can realistically train there, maybe? I don't know. Maybe they'll do more areas that scale to your level so they could be any level. Would that mean that they also can count as 300 and as a result you won't be able to use anything there? I don't know. We'll have to see the exact details, but Kishin has, so yeah, to circle back, and you know, there's always people, you know, fucking hate watching and whatever. But like I've always said this, that Kishin as a general, when it comes to like looking at the game and its balance and stuff, Kishin is just not a good thing. I feel like you either want to have like everyone have equal access to Kishin or no one have access to it. I always compare it to like invisibility in MOBAs. It's borderline impossible to balance these things properly. You either have to very heavily punish the people who have any access to it, or if you don't do that, then it's just ridiculously overpowered, because it's just such a trump card. It's such a, to have that concentrated into one class, and the totems have definitely broadened that a little bit, but the totems, you know, being stuck to 2-hour sessions, you know, and the limit per day, it's not enough for how much some people play. You know, arguably that's maybe too much, but you know, everyone gets to play how much they want. That weird access, and then usually people's argument immediately is then, well, then everyone should have it all the time, or like everyone should have like a decent skill. I don't know why that's always the default, because it's always like, well, then everyone should have more. Because in general, and this is something, this links onto something that Kobe said. Kobe, you guys all know. Is that reboot GMS people are soloing and killing things right now faster at like, I think he said like at 60k stat. Those people are killing stuff faster than whales in KMS at like 85k stat are killing things. And when it comes to it never comes down to like, I want people to be weaker because I'm not very strong, or I think everyone is having too high standards or everything. What it comes down to is the game is balanced around a certain level of progression throughout, so that people have a reasonable path from point A to point B, that they take a certain amount of time, that how they see it as being rewarding is on a certain level. That's all, you know, hopefully to some level kept in mind. And if people blow through content too fast, the balance gets upset, and then you get a whole bunch of people who get stuck at different points that weren't even designed to get stuck on. And it becomes increasingly difficult, I think, especially when you're talking about time spans of years and years of developing new content and level caps, you know, into oblivion with like level 300 with, you know, if you see the EXP curve. It becomes more and more important to make sure that there is somewhat a normalized level of growth between everyone. And you know, as always, if something is seen as like a huge nerf, if something is seen as like, well, now I can't do that anymore, there's always initially like, well, that sucks because I invested in it, right? And that's totally understandable. But like, usually the click right after that is, okay, but let's see what I can work on next then. Because there's always going to be something else that we can probably push on a little bit harder and min-max a little bit harder on. That's usually like right after that. Because people are like problem solving, people are like, okay, well, we can't do that anymore. Let's do something else now. And I don't think it necessarily be like another game and people are going to be quitting because, and for the people that do, it's probably for the better. You know, there's probably another game out there that'll treat you better, that you'll have way more fun playing, and I hope you find that. But for the people who stick around, there's going to be new things that people come up with, and I can't wait what kind of new stuff the people figure out that will allow them to min-max on it, that just is in a completely different direction. Because people's, I was going to say inspiration, but that's not the word. People's ingenuity and stuff like that will start being addressed. And I can't wait what kind of stuff the people come out with that will help them get to a certain point that we didn't even consider now as an option, or, you know, some kind of crackpot theory that someone had, and maybe we, you know, blow off the dust and revitalize that thing, and maybe it'll work for a different situation. Maybe party training will be a thing again. You know, God forbid you'll actually have to be in a map with other people there, and maybe that'll actually give you more EXP than being solo or something, you know. And I really love the determination and the ingenuity of people to be addressed more again, and to look at the game and to try to solve these problems rather than to stick around too long and focus on just number go down equal bad, game sucks, you know. I know that's gonna happen for a while, and you know, the more heavily you're invested into that, it's perfectly reasonable. But I'm already looking forward to like the step after that, and seeing like how we're gonna move forward past that, and still, because every single time we had one of these huge nerfs, I don't know if people remember that, but every time we had any of these huge nerfs, especially the Kishin, and people were initially like super fucking pissed, and like everything was horrible, we always ended up better afterwards. Every single time so far. So, I don't know. I think that pattern gives hope enough that, you know, something will be on the horizon. But, you know, we'll see, I guess. But yeah, we're waiting for the details on version 2.30, specifically already for Kishin, so that'll probably be pretty soon. But for the other pieces, this is just like a non-reboot reminder that don't go super crazy in investing into your account if you are planning to, I don't know, it depends on your personal preference, you know. If you're going to rush to 300 because you care a lot about leveling or care a lot about being first, then everyone will be under the new conditions, so whether you get then first to 301 or first to 310 or whatever, that'll still have the same weight, I think, because everyone is going to have the same restrictions, you know. So I don't see this as being a like, oh well, now I'm not going to spend any time on Maple anymore. But it could be, you know, it's personal preference. If you're like, oh, well, you know, it's just going to feel bad. It's just going to feel bad if I can't spawn in hunts. Then maybe now is a good time, you know, before you spend that extra 2 years trying to get to 300, then maybe now is a good time to, you know, ease off the throttle a little bit, and yeah, just reassess, you know, because it's a huge time investment and huge financial investment for some people as well. So you deserve all the information before you make the decisions, and I hope you make good decisions based on them. So yeah, interesting stuff. We'll see how it directly affects and down the road affects all the gameplay, and looking out for version 230, 290, no, 229, 230 patch notes to go over the specific details. Although I'm sure the details will read something like adjusted the spawn rate and you know, huge names like that, words like that, that really, you know, hammer down the details, like adjusted and increased or decreased without any kind of percentage number. We'll figure it out. You know, people will do tests. People will come up with the amount of milliseconds in between respawns and stuff like we did with the totems, so that we figured out that the totems weren't actually nerfed. They were actually exactly the same. You know, stuff like that. But yeah, let me know what your initial thoughts are. Let me know how you're thinking about it. If I'm seeming completely reasonable or if you kind of agree. And yeah, I'll definitely cover the patch notes when we get them. So I guess I'll see you on that one. Thanks for watching. Bye.